you're a child from the 80s or 90s, most of your dinosaur knowledge came from watching Jurassic Park or Land Before Time, or maybe even Barney. And then you grew up and drank a lot of wine at the bar back there. And paleontologists were supposed to stop discovering things. But as life becomes increasingly more unstable, because some of us don't have rent control, we risk losing all humanity and planets to new discoveries in science. Science is ruining childhood. Now, who am I? Well, I like to think of myself as an amateur paleontologist. If you define amateur paleontologist as someone who frequently wears a dinosaur onesie to bed, then yes, I will be your dinosaur Sherpa for the evening. Now, the very first thing that, nope, that's not there. The very first thing that we need to talk about is dinosaurs with feathers, because that is not okay. You can't just put fuzzy little shits on all of these scary dinosaurs that are gonna eat your face off. It just does not work that way. It doesn't. However, a recent discovery at a dig in Siberia suggests that all dinosaurs had feathers, not just the juvenile form of Tyrannosaurus rex or velociraptors. Just completely destroys everything that I ever love in life. Speaking of feathers, did you know that birds are actually the descendants of dinosaurs and not pterodactyls? Birds have the same pelvic bones, backward-facing knees, and large eye sockets as many bipedal dinosaurs that we all love. Speaking of pterodactyls, they're not actually dinosaurs. Although they did live in the late Triassic along with many of the other well-known dinosaurs, they're about as closely related to dinosaurs as humans are to marsupials. So definitely not the same thing. But scientists are hell-bent on ruining everything and getting rid of the bitchiest member of Land Before Time. So they tried to get rid of Triceratops in 2010. They said that Triceratops was actually the juvenile form of Torosaurus, and as they grew older, their frills would actually get longer and have more bony ridges. However, at least 3 papers since 2010 have refuted this, so Triceratops, still safe for now. Still bitchy though. Another thing is that these two idiots tried to destroy everything there is about Apatosaurus. So they got into this massive pissing contest known as the Bone Wars, because they're dudes, and and so one of them took an Apatosaurus skeleton, stuck a completely different skull on top of the skeleton, and called it a Brontosaurus. However, Apatosaurus had actually been discovered 2 years prior to that. So 100 years later, we're still getting it wrong because these two had to whip it out. Speaking of which, if an Apatosaurus was actually in water like this picture, it would have actually drowned because of all of the pressure on its rib cage. We need to talk about Jurassic Park. Because despite the fact that Jeff Goldblum's chest was magnificent, the actual stars of this was the Velociraptor, which is actually only about 2.5 feet tall. They're about the size of a Frenchie. So Steven Spielberg took a little bit of creative licensing and made them much bigger. However, Dilophosaurus would have actually been the size of the Jurassic Park velociraptors. However, the movie actually shrunk them down and gave them these weird little frills and made them spit poison out, none of which is actually true. Now, the big question on everybody's mind is, how did the dinosaurs die out? Was there a massive space battle with lasers and robots and they killed every single one of them? No, sorry. Couldn't tell you that one. But however, a study recently in biological journals suggests that dinosaurs would have actually been able to survive the asteroid impact had they not already been going through a lot of different problems. A lot of the herbivores had actually been dying out, which affected the food chain, which meant that everybody was hungry, and then there was also volcanic eruptions and global warming and sea level changes and all sorts of stuff like that. So moral of the story is they all died. So, in conclusion, here's all the shit that scientists have ruined from my childhood. Dinosaurs have become fuzzy little things that we all kind of love. No, they're supposed to eat you. Triceratops may not actually be a thing anymore. Bone Wars happened, because dudes. An asteroid may not have actually killed anything, but the one thing that science has not touched is Jeff Goldblum's chest. Thank you very much.